Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. The 144,000 and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen that look like those heathens, and to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning to you, I say shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson, right? And I'm just looking at the sky in the background of this picture from the 80s, you know, and you don't see skies like that too often anymore. What you see is those man-made clouds that are in straight lines and they look like bumps, you know, when they spread out, and then it rains down all that poison when the rain comes or the snow comes, you know, and then everyone's stuffed up, headaches, full of cold and mucus. All right, these people really are trying to make the world sick. But let me read the copyright disclaimer before because I'm going to play this video in the background. And basically, this is a video about the failing and closing malls. There's malls all over the place. You know, homeless people living in them, street people, drug dealers holed up in them, creeps and rapists, and all kind of madness is going on in these ginormous abandoned places. Right? Sometimes the forest and the greenery even takes them back. You know, but this is a copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right, so now that we got that out the way, I'm going to, as the images take you down to yesteryear when malls were busy and all the stuff that's killed the malls, all the new modern technology which has destroyed it online. You know, you create technology that destroys yourself. And another thing is that, let me get this scripture first. I'm going to play a couple videos from TikTok. And, but first I'm going to get this scripture. All right, because people talking about the failure of society and capitalism and et cetera, et cetera. Well, the reason is because they're not following the plan of the Lord. You can't consume your way to riches. You can't consume your way to great wealth. And America is a nation of consumers, which means only the people at the top are going to make the money. And so when the people at the bottom can no longer afford to buy, well, the people at the top fold too. All right. And then they just leave and leave a bunch of gigantic, empty, abandoned places. All right. And a broken society. And that's what we're witnessing. And this is Isaiah 8:20. It says, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. See, there's no light in these people. And, you know, these things, we're witnessing the downfall of the fourth beast. Right. Matter of fact, let's get that in Daniel. This is Daniel 2. I'm going to start at 31. And it reads, and thou, O king, sawest, behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image head was of gold, his breast and arms were of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, and his feet part iron and part clay. We're at that portion in the time frame of this, because you know there were many kingdoms, but these are the main ones. All right, it was the Babylon, the Persian Medes, the Greeks. All right, and then finally the Romans. And America is the second part of the Roman Empire, which was reborn again during the Renaissance. All right, and the stronghold of this fourth beast has been capitalism, and capitalism is failing. It's failing miserably. All right. So let's play a couple videos. Let's find them. Oh yeah, that's the good old days right there, what they're showing you, you know. Happy days. They were showing you the 50s. Well, they went back even further, right? And speaking of that, you couldn't even make this up. I didn't even know that clip was in there. It just showed you, you know, the 10 toes, Germany. All right, part miry clay. Because Germany had the strongest economy out of all the European nations, and now because of capitalism fails and sanctions and different, you know, moves that the West has made, has, you know, pretty much destroyed Germany, and now they can't, especially the blowing up of that pipeline. All right, that messed up Germany and the other nations that depended on, you know, on that power. But let's play this first video. Let me make sure this is up. And here we go.
That's why communism doesn't work, because if everybody's the same, it doesn't matter your performance, people will inevitably...
Capitalism, I would argue, is not working. When the wages stopped rising in America after the 1970s, how did the American standard of living keep going up over the last 30 years when the wages didn't? We borrowed, just like them. But you know, after a while, if your wages are flat, and the only way you can increase your standard of living is by borrowing, you don't need rocket science to understand eventually you'll have a level of debt you can't support on a flat wage. The American working class discovered that, which is why we're in a crisis now. And the Greeks discovered it, which is why they're in a crisis now. And the Spanish working class is discovering it. And here in this country, who lent to the working class for 30 years? The business community, who were making a lot of money because the wages were flat for 30 years, and so they cashed in. And they made a lot of money, which they turned around and lent to the workers. Who lent to the Greeks? The Germans, who made a lot of money because they kept their prices down and nobody could compete with them. And so they made a ton of money, which they lent to the poor countries to allow them to keep buying the stuff produced in the rich countries.
Did you hear that?
But when it can't do it anymore, it's over. And you know, here's the irony of ironies. Because the Greeks can't do anything anymore. They have no money. They can't keep their hospitals open. They can't buy anything. So first it's Greece, but already you see the effect on Germany. Germans sell to Spain, to Portugal, to Italy. People aren't buying. The Germans are discovering, oh my goodness, having taken everything to ourselves, having lent for a while to the others so we could keep selling to them, now we're not going to lend to them anymore because they can't pay us back. But if we don't lend to them, they can't buy from us. And if they don't buy from us, we're in the soup with them. The system self-destructs.
Absolutely.
Capitalism is not only, as I said at the beginning, not working for societies like Spain, Italy, Greece, and on and on. It isn't even working for the other ones.
Like America.
It's like the United States. The 1% takes it all. The 99% can't buy anything. And the 1% discover if the 99% can't buy anything, we're shafted.
And that's why you have empty malls everywhere. Let's grab a scripture, then we're going to play another video. This is no wisdom in these guys. They're not wise at all. All right. This is Jeremiah 49:7. And concerning Edom, it reads, Jeremiah 49:7, concerning Edom, thus saith Yahawah power, it is wisdom no more in Teman, is counsel perished from the prudent, is their wisdom vanished? So clearly, because their systems are imploding, they're failing. All right, they didn't follow the way of the Lord. All right, they did a couple really, really bad things. One was the elevation of women. The power of which is what made me run in here to do this video, because you know, people here wanted to watch the Barbie movie. Was no way I was going to watch that movie. All right. So the point being is that in that movie and in the world, the imbalance has been created through the elevation of women to places where they don't be. The world is out of course, which is why the world is failing. You know, so many men without work and so many women with work and tired of working. It's backwards. All right. A lot of men can't get work, and it's so much easier for women to get work. All right. They'll give loans. They'll give grants, business loans. All those things will go to, especially when you're talking about people of color, is what I'm really getting at the most. All right. Especially when it comes to the so-called Negro man. All right. Then a Negro male and a Negro woman, so-called. All right. A Hispanic man or a Hispanic woman, so-called, could have the same credentials. All right. But the woman, 9 times out of 10, will get the loan, the grant, the opportunity over that male. This is done on purpose to create imbalance, an imbalance in the home. And that's why the dating and the marriage and the relationship thing is so backwards, along with everything else. All right. This is and Aaron Russo spoke about that. And I remember seeing that video clip. All right. I think it was from an Alex Jones video. Going back to about 2006, 2007. But I do remember seeing it on how he had a conversation with one of the Rockefellers. I think it was Nick Rockefeller, and Nick Rockefeller told him, you know, it was their idea to bring the woman into the workplace so they could tax more people. That also enabled them, all right, because, you know, in 1920 when everything changed, all right, when you could when they started rewriting history for the most part and rewriting words and newspeak and everything and changing definitions and hiding stuff and, you know, that whole sort of thing, set up the school system, which is really, when you compare the school system to the prison system, they're ran almost identical, all right, to get you to be the perfect. And now look at your malls as you're looking at the screen. But they create the perfect worker. And if somehow you don't work out in the work world to be part of their consuming capitalism machine, all right, to give you just enough money to live so you can consume and keep their consuming machine going. If you fail in that, then you just go to the prison system and then they'll get you with free labor, and you're still helping their system to go. Because now you just borrowed out, you know, loaned out free labor for gigantic businesses, which run just so people can what? Consume. You see? So it's just this never-ending madness. But this is Jeremiah 31 and 22. And it reads, "How long wilt thou go back, O thou backsliding daughter? For Yahawah hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man." So a woman was never supposed to be in a position where she could usurp authority over a man. That's in Timothy, all right, where she's in charge. Because, you know, from all my studies, from, you know, going back 5,000 years of history, all right, there is not one nation, one country, one kingdom that was ever raised up, all right, or raised to the ground, you know, by women. There was never any female armies that went in and conquered it. What women do is fall in line with whoever wins the battle. Point blank, period. All right? The people who win become the new people in power. You become the new hot shit. You're the ones that they all want to lay down with and open their legs to until the next group conquers, and then they do the same. Then they trade on the men that they're in and go with the new lords and rulers. And that's just an inconvenient, uncomfortable truth. All right? And it just is. And so, matter of fact, let me play this next video, because this sister really, she's very boisterous about things, but and actually she's kind of sharp comparing her to most women, but there's so much that she doesn't know, and she's so proud. Pride goes before the fall. But let me find that video. And here we go.
So I know a lot of you guys don't know, but my regular 9-to-5 job is working in customer service. So on a daily basis, I speak with about 20 to 40 people a day. Recently, I've gone viral, and I'm getting 5 to 7 million views on my profile per 30 days across the board, right? So the exposure I have to people has increased so massively. And
very proud, like I said.
That I keep seeing is whether I'm dealing with people in real life or at my job, everybody is acting like a customer. And I mean that if they are not being lied to or sales pitched, they are genuinely triggered or offended. Even where I try to tell people the truth, look out for their best interests, be candid with them, have a respectable business interaction, they are offended. And I feel like this is a direct result of the American culture that is sales. The only culture we have is selling somebody something or being sold something. And this is a result of the capitalist.
And she's absolutely right about that. Despite what I may think or have to say about her, she's absolutely right about that. And I can do nothing but nod my head in agreement when she says that. All right.
Hellscape we all currently reside in, but I just have to go ahead and put out a PSA real quick. I understand that waking up from the nightmare that is your capitalistic hellscape of existence might be a little bit traumatic, but nonetheless, I'm going to need you to wake the fuck up and open your eyes, because it is absurd that as adults, whether we're having social, financial, or business interactions, you can't even muster up enough intelligence to process the truth when it is right the fuck in front of you. Wake up, people. This is absurd.
So, and I don't know what she thinks, if she thinks it's all going to get better or go away. But she and every woman just like her is in it for a rude awakening when these lights go out, because that's what's next. That's what's coming. All right. And it's going to be no 911. And the fact that you have been seen 7 million times on, monthly on your profiles, there's probably going to be a lot of people trying to come visit you. All right. Okay, well, good thing she wears all that makeup, because she probably can, I imagine without that makeup, you wouldn't even recognize if she was standing next to you, right? I tend not to, because with the makeup, she's absolutely gorgeous, but I've been fooled before. So I prefer women that don't wear a lot of makeup. I'd rather she just be real with me, I don't deal with makeup queens. Besides, it takes them an hour to put on their face, and I ain't got time for all that. But that's neither here nor there. But the point is, though, is that we're living in a society that's completely and totally failing. All right. Why? Once again, they didn't follow the guidebook. The Bible is a book of law, statutes, and commandments, and it completely teaches you how to run your country, how to take care of your people, how to take care of your family, down to the slightest details. It even tells you what kind of sex you can and cannot have, all right, to keep yourself, your family, and everything of society healthy, because this society has all kind of, weird sex, and that's another reason why it's so sickly and so much disease, all right? They're not following the guidebook to life, all right? How's the acronym that people in the world say? Basic. Bible means basic instruction before leaving the earth or something like that. But yet they're not following it. All right. And the fact that so much fake and false religion, especially everything based around Christianity, being that it's Christmas today, it's Saturnalia Day, Krampus Day. Okay. Look up the history on those two things. Okay. But let me get a scripture to tell you. The Lord told us everything we needed. All right, and when we did that and we followed the order, all right, and the man was put at the head of the family, and women followed their husband, all right, not husbands, all right. Biblically, a man can have multiple wives, but a woman is supposed to pair bond with the first man she's with. That's another reason why women are jumping from man to man to man to man, sometimes 2, 3, 4 at a time. Okay, and then after, man number 50, man number 100, or even if it's man number 5, now you want to pair bond with the guy. You can't, because all those other men's DNA is on you, with and it spirits. Okay, no one wants to follow the order. Everyone wants to have a happy life, but no one wants to follow the guidebook. Okay? You know, and the guidebook is real simple. Men have a role and women have a role, but that's okay. No one wants to accept their role. But when these lights go out and when the Lord, you know, when all the craziness happens and the Lord begins to do it, he's already doing it. But when he turns it up even more, people will get in line. But this is Ecclesiastes 39. I'm going to start at verse 16. The point is really in 26, but I'm going to start at verse 16. And it reads, all the works of the Lord are exceedingly good, and whatsoever he commandeth shall be accomplished in due season. All right. And none may say, what is this? Wherefore is that? For a time of convenient, they shall all be sought out. At his commandment, the water stood as a heap, and at the word of his mouth, the receptacles of waters. At his commandment, and his commandment is done whatsoever pleaseth him, and none can hinder when he will save. The works of all flesh are before him, and nothing can be hid from his eyes. So there's nothing you can do. Luke 12:2, Luke 8:17. Everything that's done in the dark shall come to the light. Nothing you can say. If you scoff and backbite, you know, make a smart comment. You know, you're not speaking against me. You're speaking against the Lord, and he will see it. The angels record everything. All right. The angels got that. They go on the tail spirit. All right. And that's what they do. They fly around in the chariots. They watch everything. And you do something, you know, in the dark, you know, you all up in the sheeps, clapping at your neighbor's wife when he's away. Yeah. And you think nobody saw it? Okay. And it says, he seeth from everlasting to everlasting, and there is nothing wonderful before him. A man may need to say, what is this? Wherefore is that? For he hath made all things for his uses. His blessings covered the dry land as a river, and the water it is as a flood. And he hath turned the waters into saltness, so shall the heathen inherit his wrath. And that's the time that we're coming into. At the water Yahawashi, he's finally about to redeem us, establish his name in the earth, Yahawashi, get his vengeance, and then we get to get ours. All right? It says, by the hand of my people Israel. Okay? It says, and that's what they fear. That's why they hate us. It says, and they know that we're the Israelites. As he turned the waters into saltness, so shall the heathen inherit his wrath. As his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. And that so people, the wicked, you know, and even the wicked among our own, you know, they don't want to believe the truth and they stumble at it. All right. And because it's a blessing. Faith is a blessing. A lot of people don't have faith. They don't believe. And that's because the Lord don't want them to. That's the part that they don't get. The Lord gave them that mind to just always be negative and not believe the scripture, not believe the words, not believe things that you know, when it happens right in front of their face. You know, certain events that took place in the Bible that were written before they happened, and then they happened in the time frame when the Lord said it. They did. People just can't see it. It's because the Lord don't want them to. All right. It says, for the good are good for good things created from the beginning. So evil things for sinners. And here's the point right here, the main point. The principal thing for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and blood of the grape, oil, and clothing. All these things are good to the godly, so to the sinners they shall be turned to evil. So what Esau did was took all those godly things, goodly things, and he merchandised them. And he kept you away from him. And he pushed life where everything is backwards. Now the woman is the breadwinner. And it's backfired on him. Because look at his women now. Right, his women out there popping and twerking and clapping too. And they're making, and a lot of their women are out earning their men. And guess what they're doing? They're going to get with the men of the other nations. Mainly the nation that they hate the most, the so-called black man. So everything that he's doing is failing, just like his capitalism. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakar, Qadash, Kwam Yasharala, Shalom.